vested interest in their hearts and can understand where I am and can celebrate more of where I am. And it's people like right here. Thank you. So another one that I do is called, I call it in the driver's seat. And the reason why I call it that is I feel like a lot of the challenges that I've had in my personal life is because the communication gap, or there was something that was blocking closure. And when I'm in the driver's seat, I'm in control of the environment. I'm in control of wherever everybody else is in the car, they're going where I'm going. The music is what music I want to listen to, the temperature is the way I want it, and I'm going to drive the road that I want to do, and it puts me back into control. And when I didn't feel like I had control over an environment or had closure, I've done this quite often, and something's playing on in my head, and I think, when I'm getting in the car, you're getting in with me. And I'll get in, and I'll literally, energetically say, so-and-so, you're sitting next to me, we have some work to do. And I'll get in the car, and I'll say, okay, these are the things I feel, this is why I don't feel resolution, this is how you handle it, which was not appropriate in any way, and I just say everything that I need to say so that it's not here. So that I can get it out of me and move that energy like I talked about. The emotions I'm already thinking them, they're already there. I need them to not reside within me. And then I'm still, and I'm respectful, and I say, okay, your turn. What do you have to say to me? What don't I know about the situation so that I can have closure? And it's remarkable how many times I've heard something go, I get it. I don't always agree, but I understand the perception of where they came from. I understand the belief of where they came from, and I'm going to invite you to do that. I'm going to invite you to be in the driver's seat, and people that have unfinished, even if they have crossed over, even if you know that you're never going to see them again, even if you never are going to go to another class reunion and ever going to have them sitting beside you at high school again, you're going to have an ability to have the finish up of the conversation and be in the driver's seat. Another one that I like to do is write a letter to their soul, because in our soul level, on the true form of who we are, is truth, love, and compassion. And I know that when I lack compassion is because I lack clarity and understanding of where somebody else is coming from. And when there's pain, it's going to have an emotional component that's usually layered, that is unresolved emotion from somebody else. And so I can write a letter to their soul, speaking from my soul, and I can express everything that I need to express and share where I'm coming from, and then I turn the page. And I hold my pen there until they start speaking. And for me, it works best if I go into spirit communication, and I go into prayer, and I ask for God for guidance for this. Because my goal is to never demoralize or cut anybody else down, or never put in somebody else's wrong. My goal is for understanding and clarity and resolution. And in order to do that, we need to have a clear communication. And so all of these, communication, that's who I am. I am really good at communicating, really. And it just happens to be something that I really strive at. And I don't speak from ego. I just know that I can communicate, and that's how I need to create resolution. And then the last one that I do is, now this is different language than what we would be familiar with Saint Germain, but for me, I need to get stuff that was already dormant in here, that I need to get resolution from. And so I don't ever want anybody to ever go, I am, from a negative standpoint, because we don't want to create more. We're creators now. We always have been, but now we know it. And we're creators, and so never go from the language of I am, but I really highly recommend that you go from the language of I feel. I feel. These are emotions that I'm feeling, and I just get it out. And it's really interesting when I'm writing it out, and I'll start at the beginning, and then my cursive is eloquent. And by the way, I recommend cursive writing, because in body language, if you're doing like print and penmanship, there's starts and stops and starts and stops with each of the different letters. And in that there's starts and stops in our progression. But if we do cursive writing and just try to continue it as much, then it trains the brain to know that there's flow in life, and that we're flowing, everything's releasing in a state of flow, and that's what we want, is to have flow. But anyway, it starts at the beginning of the page. It can be very gentle and appropriate. And at the end, I'm like scribbling and stamping and getting and turning the page. And I used, you know, I could go 6 words to a line, and then by about the 3rd page, or 6 words to the page, because it's like really, because I'm feeling energy moving. It's just moving away from me and out. And then I don't want to see that paper again. And anything that I wrote, I'm never going to share it. It's poison. So we burn it, or we shred it, or something, we release it. We get it out, and then we're done. And then I invite you to listen to music, do the violet flame, do any of these things to just bring your energy back into alignment of where you want to be. So then this is all about healing relationships. And I really venture that every single person has done something that inadvertently or on purpose, if you were already going through some pain that has caused pain for other or communication, and if it has, fix it. Do something to fix it, make things right, do some kind of, one of these techniques that I talked about. And if you can't find one of those, if you're not ready to look one of those, then find an area where you can create a nurturing experience in a relationship, somebody that needs a nurturing experience, because that's going to raise your vibration. And the point of this, raising your vibration to a higher level, raises you above the energy of this and the emotions that you have with that. So unfinished emotions hold you back from moving forward, and I think that these are some key elements of moving forward in life. So with that, does anybody have any questions? I threw a lot of stuff out, but does anybody have any questions? Thank you so much. So anyway, with that, thank you so much, and I really want to invite you all to have an experience of doing some emotional release. And like I said, you can visit with Dave. I'm so grateful that she drove down from Salt Lake this morning just to be here with us. So she's going to be a real pleasure. But thank you again for being here with us.